I'm recording this now. I just seen it.
Sure.
What's the thing that makes you want to be good at this? I feel like I have to tell you that because there's like fucking people in this world that like want to bug the president's phones and wants to talk about lawyers that have sealed dossiers and lie to the FBI, but never really pay for her crimes. So I feel like I have to
Wait,
tell
so
you
are you asking me why I just have the feeling that I want to be good at chess, or why I'm spending my time playing chess right now as opposed to doing something else?
both. Why you want to be good at it?
I just figured it was a game that, per my intellect and demeanor, I should be good at, and it has frustrated me that that is not the case. And I keep playing chess because I am succumbing to weakness because I should be doing something else.
I think that's like opinion. One of it, like Big Lebowski said, that's kind of like your opinion, man.
It is my opinion.
I mean,
Correct.
literally, millions of people all around the world do even worse things than you playing chess.
Mm-hmm.
They watch CNN. They literally think it's true.
Yeah, but I'm not comparing myself to the rest of the people on Earth. I'm comparing myself to myself, and I know the things that I need to do. And what happens is I've got so many different things that I want to do at the same time. If I'm not careful, I will very easily overwhelm myself with a number of things that I want to do. And playing games totally takes my focus and allows me to not think about all that. And it's
It's a drag.
it's not good. I mean, on one
I mean,
level, okay, yeah, it's helping me not overwhelm myself, but on the other
right.
hand, it prevents me from doing stuff.
I get that you want to be productive. That's very admirable. But like you do realize that those things are necessary in your life too to keep you human, like to keep you sane. If you were just working
Mm,
constantly, being productive all the time, you'd be one of these horrible fucking billionaires who literally want to great reset us or something. Probably
Well,
develop
if
a complex.
I mean, you could imagine maybe I'm a wonderful fucking billionaire who doesn't want a great reset. Maybe I'm one of the billionaires who wants to be Great Awaken.
Yeah, there's no such
Great
thing as a good
Awakener.
billionaire. They got their wealth by exploiting people, buying our political puppets, and then funneling the wealth back to them. I feel like. True or
Okay,
not?
I'll challenge you. Let me see if I can get $1 billion without doing that.
Mm-hmm. I'm listening. I'm listening.
What do you mean you're
Oh,
listening? What does
challenge.
it have?
I thought you said you were going to challenge my
Yeah,
premise.
well, let's see if I can go get $1 billion and see if I can do it without doing what you just said.
Okay. How long do I have to wait for this?
I have no idea. As
So
fast as
everybody's in
humanly
his.
possible.
You know what makes me really frustrated? Like it's you playing games and not being productive. Me, it's literally seeing the world. I stay consistent, okay, on my principles and values. Like I'm not too smart. As a musician, I have a good memory, and that's what makes me a good musician. But I'm not too smart. I didn't make the best grades, but like literally, we have the same circus having over and over and over again the same lies, the same propaganda. Like literally, really no difference. It's like we're in Iraq again, and
No,
all I can
I
hear,
think if we go
is
back.
what happened.
I,
Wait till November. Wait till no. Go ahead. Sorry.
no, I was going to say that just go back into perpetuity. It's always this shit, right? It's always people in power saying stuff that has no consistency to any morals or anything that they said in the past. They're just saying whatever they need to do to get into power. And I think
Right.
we're in the unique time period where the general populace can see that happening in real time, and we can go, hey, wait a minute, I got a video of you from last week that's saying something that you didn't say before, so I'm going to clip them together and make a 30-second meme out of it and share it around the internet. Like,
That's
we
literally
can do
all I
that now.
do.
We couldn't do that
Yeah.
before, man.
But see, it's more insidious than that, Dylan, because that's why they've decided to latch on to us and hide behind us as they do their nefarious bullshit. You know how
What do you
like
mean?
this whole Disney thing. It's shocked me how the progressive wing all of a sudden is caring about businesses pay taxes. Now right wingers love
Isn't
government
it fucking
interference in
hilarious?
business.
Isn't it
Like
fucking
it's like
hilarious?
literally what's going on? Like
Well, because I mean,
where am
like,
I?
if I think of the stereotypical Republican back from fucking 15 or 20 years ago or something, right? I
Pay
would think
fair
of
share.
somebody who would be getting money from Disney in exchange for giving them preferential tax treatment and like their own city to govern. Right? That would be like the stereotypical Republican in my mind, and it's completely flipped.
I mean, it wasn't. It's funny because it wasn't even about these issues of child grooming, or it wasn't the issue about a gay agenda. It was the issue that they stopped donating politically to the Republicans. So, and you heard about that,
Well,
right?
I didn't hear about that. I mean, I
Yeah,
totally
because
believe it.
well, Disney wasn't publicly like saying anything about the bill because DeSantis is governor. They probably didn't want to make any waves, but they had the like some mild support for trans
I don't.
kids. They said
I don't
something.
know whether or not Disney was saying anything about the bill, but Disney is definitely jumping up and down with the let's put trans insanity on as many kids as we possibly can. Let's make shows that promote trans shit. I think not that I'm watching Disney or letting my kids watch Disney because fuck that.
So this is why I wanted to talk to you, especially because you're
Mm-hmm.
a good friend, and I know you're very objective, and you're not a bigot at all. So I feel like I could talk to you about this, and we can talk it
Oh,
out.
I'm not a bigot. Okay, but
You're not.
should I warm up? Should I warm up my bigot engine?
I'm just have to say this. I have to preface this because everybody's a Russian asset, Assad apologist, transphobe, with the fucking fake left.
I am a Russia asset, whatever you said, apologist and a transphobe.
If you guys
I
believe
meet all the
that,
criteria.
you've been CNN'd. No, but like, okay, so you really feel like they're pushing this trans thing on kids? Like, is it like, are we being dramatic, or is this really the case? Like, you really feel like that they're grooming
I
kids
think
to be
it's really,
trans?
I think it's really the case, and I think depending on which book you read by whichever Illuminati overlord, there are several purposes to this. One of the main goals is to destroy the family unit, which destroys the future, right? Because any culture, any civilization is a reflection of how they form their family unit. And what Western civilization, the way that we
What do you mean
form
by
the
that?
family unit,
Form
was
a
that?
family unit. What do you mean by that? Form a family unit.
Okay, so for example, I turn 18, I get a job, and I'm like, I better get enough money so I can get a wife, and I get one wife because that's Western. We're not in Islam. I don't get four,
Or
which is
Utah.
lame. What's that?
Or Utah.
They say they don't do that anymore. I don't know if I believe them, but they say they don't do that anymore. So anyway, I only get one wife, and then I say, okay, I got to make enough money that I can support the wife, so she can stay at home, and we can make a bunch of kids. And then the kids see two parents at home, and then the mom's there, so they're not getting shipped off to daycare because kids that are in daycare for 20 hours a week exhibit all the signs of being fully abandoned, which has
They do.
which has implications on and on. And so if we could form that family unit, we have a strong family, we can create strong members of society. Well, first of all, we can create members of the future generation, but we can create strong members of the future generation that will say, okay, here's what's propelling the culture forward. If we say, okay, I'm not even talking about the don't have kids because it's bad for the climate propaganda bullshit. Don't
have kids because they're loud.
Not only is it okay to be gay, it's virtuous to be gay. Oh, and not only is it virtuous to be gay, it's okay to be trans. Oh, it's not just okay to be trans, it's virtuous to be trans. So your parents with this idea that you are a boy, you are a girl, you're probably not that. You're probably gay, and you're probably the opposite of what you think you are, or some other fucking bizarre gender, whatever.
Why can't that message just relay back to you? Be virtuous, whatever you are, whatever you are. I'm proud of you. I'm proud of you.
There are civilization destroying consequences, is my point.
Civilization destroying consequences.
Right. So
the family unit, like, divorces are literally more than half of couples that get married get divorced.
Oh yeah.
Doesn't that hurt the family unit?
Yes, absolutely. So that started before the whole LGBTQ 47 to the third power X, right?
What is you talking about, bro? That sounds like Star Trek.
I wish it was as cool as Star Trek.
Gay to the Star Trek Power X.
Can we energize all the trannies to Venus, please? Because I am a bigot. No. Divorce, that's a huge one. 100%. That's from my understanding, that came in during the 70s to relax the divorce laws so you could have no fault divorce, and the whole, okay, because this is a way to destroy a man, is if a man's relatively wealthy, a woman can come, get herself pregnant, or get married first, get pregnant, have the kids, say, I want to divorce you, take the kids, take the stuff, get the child support. And, I've heard of men who are, three wives deep, or women who are three husbands deep, doing this sort of
There was literally a
yeah.
profession called debutante, and you were trained. You grew up to marry a man and have his child because that's the only way you would ever eat, have food on the table. It was
Right.
like a job.
Right. Well, and then I don't think it's so much in this case that if you don't do it, you won't eat. It's more like a business of how many rich
It was
guys can I.
survival.
Yeah, and then on the man's side, they don't have
They need an
whatever.
heir. They need an heir, right? King of the North.
For whatever reason, the culture has not given the men the ability to discern a woman who's going to do that or not.
Because they have tits. That's the only.
That's true.
It's science.
Yeah,
Follow the science. Follow the
yeah,
science.
yeah, we have a hard time with that. I understand. But
So look, I want to.
I have been guilty of that in the past.
I feel like so the tape comes out. I don't ignore evidence, and I definitely don't ignore truth. So it came out that Disney was like that woman was saying, I just fucking, put trans all over. I put what like my first instinct is like, why? I'm a gay man. When I grew up, Disney raised me. I'm one of those kids that you talked about that was a daycare because my parents worked 40 hours a week jobs. So Disney raised me and my babysitter. And literally, I love Disney. I love Disney to death. But just to say that you're just gonna put a penis on a fucking mountain for no reason, like, come on. Do you know what art is? It's got like literally what is it for? It needs to mean something. You can't just do that. So she's outrageous. She should be fired. Someone should clap back on that because she's absolutely she's extreme.
Well,
But to say that there's a gay agenda.
for just a second, can we all just recognize the fact that Disney sucks now? I mean,
Oh my God, so much.
Forget all the trans stuff. I mean, whatever Disney was when you and I were a kid is not what Disney is producing now.
Absolutely. It's because they've told all the stories, and now they're being retold, and they have, like Star Wars. They're just going to destroy every story they didn't write just to spite.
Well, I don't think you have to work too hard to destroy Star Wars.
We're the real storyteller. I mean, only Disney could destroy Star Wars. I mean, what was that? Was there any point to it? Maybe, like if the whole franchise of the trilogy didn't happen, it would be better off. Let's just put it that way.
I agree.
Everybody would. Like, how you're going to make a woman a hero? Okay, well, can you give her a good story? Can you give her character? Can you give her characters we can fucking value and like and relate to? No. Can we get friends? Can we get laughs like Han Solo? No, you're going to kill Han Solo. The only person left after that movie was Chewbacca. I thought they were going to kill him off too.
Well, I quit watching him. I'm just completely disinterested.
Took my childhood and shot it all in front of my eyes with this fucking Kylo Ren. My God. Yeah, it didn't happen. Let's just think that. So Disney? Like I'm saying, Disney not my favorite, but like you really think there's other things that destroy the family unit. Like why trans kids?
Absolutely. I think the trans thing is the most recent one and one of the more debilitating ones because of I got to say it this way is the hormone blockers and gender reassignment surgery being offered. I mean, not that the gender reassignment surgery is being offered in schools, but you can. I think you can
they want them. They didn't have hormone blockers.
Yeah. No,
I'm on your side with that.
Kids, but I mean, fucking hormone blockers for kids.
They're dumb. They shouldn't make decisions like that when they're kids because they're dumb.
Well, I mean, first of all, it's a form of mutilating your own body, right? And so we should be encouraging nobody to do that, right? I mean, if I take my pocket knife out and I just start slamming,
I mean that's but Dylan,
right?
Some civilizations do that and they find it as like in Africa they find it like as a virtuous thing. So basically, here's what my thing is. I completely agree with the hormone blockers and all this. But let me tell you, as a gay man in the 90s, when George W. Bush was president, I literally had to hide who I was so hard that I had to pretend. I had to lie to myself. And then I started to end up hating myself. I literally hated myself. Every time I had a thought, thought I'd go to hell. I had a traumatic time. Then I told my mom, and she told my pastor. And my pastor literally I was in the youth band playing the keyboard. I literally couldn't play anymore because I was a gay man. I had to go through therapy. It was a tragic time, bro. Just to even like admit to my mom who loves me what I am. And it's just like all of that shit sucked so hard and I hated myself for so long until I got to college and I was like, fuck it. But like until you say
And
fuck it, who cares what they think? That's
I,
what
wa- I
kids
want I
like
want to be clear on a point
kids are
though.
victims, bro. They're victims
I,
to social pressures. But go
I
ahead.
want to be clear on a point though here
Yeah.
is that there's a difference between something being okay and something being virtuous,
Right.
right? And then personally, I view homosexuality as a disability. I think
Thank
you're
you.
disabled.
I think you're disabled. So hi.
So the reason is you are disabled from having children with the person you love.
Aw, you made it sad.
I, I pointed out the obvious.
It's kind of sad.
It's really sad. It's really sad. So to take that, I mean, let's make a more obvious corollary. If I'm in a wheelchair and I can't walk, that's sad. I'm disabled. That sucks, right?
Yeah.
Now, if I turn around and say, okay, being in a wheelchair and disabled is virtuous, that means you should be in a wheelchair and disabled. You should break your legs so you can't walk anymore. Therefore, you're virtuous. That's kind of like what's by making gay or even worse, trans into being virtuous is you're saying, okay, let me disable myself voluntarily.
Okay. I
Am I
mean, you
making more sense?
literally no. You made perfect sense and you nailed your point. But I just think that she's being overzealous. She should be
Well,
fired.
who is this woman that
And
we're talking
trans.
about?
You didn't see the video of the Disney chair pretty much saying what they were saying. Oh yes, I want a gay agenda. My not so subtle gay agenda. They played
Oh
that
yeah,
tape
yeah.
on Turning
That's
Point
what I'm saying. They're
USA
just
and
totally
JP
fucking out in the open
Sears.
with it. They're totally out in the open with
They
it.
are, and
And,
you're right.
and
They're extreme with it.
if you want to go into total tinfoil hat land, this is what Nima, my media partner, he
Yeah.
he reads the Illuminati Overlord books and the books of the people reading the Illuminati Overlord books. Is that transgenderism is going to be worked into? This is me repeating. I mean, believe this or not,
Yeah.
into whatever the new religion is going to be. Because our Illuminati overlords believe in all the crazy religion and the change of the ages, and we are changing a zodiac age. We're in the middle of doing that. We're going from Pisces to Aquarius, right? And for them, that's like, okay, Christianity's over. We're moving into the new thing, and the new thing is going to exalt the transgender.
Why?
I have no fucking clue because these people are crazy.
Because like if you're a transgendered person, you like I don't know because I'm not a transgender. I can't say, but apparently like you believe that you are you're the opposite. Now I'm a gay man. I like being a man every day, and I like men. I just like men, but I can't imagine what it's like to like have body dysmorphia, and
Yeah, yeah.
then you
Okay,
have
then we're
all this
using the proper terms. Body
humiliation.
dysmorphia, right? It's an
I don't even know
illness.
if I said it right. Who knows?
Well,
Did I
whatever.
say it right?
It's an illness, right? You like if I think I'm a cat,
What causes it? What causes the illness?
I don't know. I don't know. Um,
Joe Biden. Go ahead.
there are some illnesses caused by Joe Biden, but I don't think this is one of them.
Oh my god, it's fucking it's called neoliberalitis and it's called that do some push-ups fatitis. Like okay, so we got to move on. I want to
Sure,
you
sure.
said
No,
everything
let's
you need
move
to
on.
say on that.
Enough trans stuff.
So let's move on to cuz I haven't talked to you in a long time, so I want to get your opinions on these key issues. I got your opinions on you've managed to make an argument that's kind of insulting, but like you made a good argument. Disabled though.
Well,
I would stay away from the disabled. If you learn nothing from the CNN, learn from their propaganda. Just say a new word. Say disillusionmented. You're disenjoyous. How about that? Just put some things together. You could make it sell. Sell it. Print it. So Joe Biden, he can't sell his fucking Putin price hike. He couldn't sell his fucking distinctive minorities are the ones that we can't get the economy back. He can't fucking sell his approval ratings. They're going to drop him. One thing I've noticed from these two parties, Dylan, is that there's only one subtle difference between the Republicans and the Democrats. The Republicans have this fucking celebrity hero worship where you have the leader, you have the alpha. That's why they call people betas, alpha and beta. So Trump. We do what Trump says. Trump. Did you go against Trump? Okay, so the Democrats are the opposite. They're like animals. They have a hive mentality. Tucker Carlson said this. It's so true. Once they see one of you is weak and fucking not able to perform the task of funneling the wealth of their donors, they
They
will
weed you
eat you.
out.
They'll eat you like fucking hyenas. And
Hmm.
they're about to eat Joe Biden. So
Yeah, I think so.
they've already tried to
And
put
I
Kamala
think
up
it was
front.
press.
She's fucked it up. Go ahead.
So
I'm sorry.
you remember at the end of the Trump presidency when Nancy Pelosi suddenly started talking about the 25th Amendment, and which
Yes.
it would we're on the same page, but to medically remove a president, I think is what
Right.
that 25th Amendment is, right?
Yeah, I know about that.
And the initial gut reaction is like, oh, she's going to try to remove Trump with the 25th Amendment, and a few people are going, no, she's getting ready to remove Biden with the 25th Amendment. And I this is
That's
an
a good.
analysis.
That's a good idea.
This is an analysis that I picked up from Styx Hexenhammer. Is he said the smartest thing that the Democratic Party can do and the establishment Republicans can do, seeing that Trump is about to run again, is to get Biden to bow out due to health reasons.
He just said he was going to run for re-election. He's off the rails, bro. He thinks he's president for
I
real.
hope I hope he runs for re-election, please. But if he bows out due to health reasons, now Trump, he's a little younger than Biden, but not much. I mean, he's old. He's 70s, right?
All these guys are old, yeah.
Then the media can start spinning up. Oh my God, maybe it's time to reconsider the fact that that 70 might be too old for a president, and then they could slam that on Trump, which is probably the only thing they have right now because there's no Obama coming out of the woodwork for the Democrats. Right?
So yeah, well, it
Right
was
now.
all spoiled because of the Durham probe has gotten some fucking people. Have you heard about this 3 arrests now? And it's not Trump.
Okay, wait,
It's
wait.
not Trump,
People are
bro.
actually getting arrested. Are,
Yes, we
are,
have
are they
Michael Sussman.
minions? Are they
Michael,
minions or are they leaders?
like I said, Hillary Clinton literally fucking gave the order. You know that because her emails just magically disappeared, and the FBI can't find them. They can find weapons of mass destruction. They can find literally everything they want to about Putin, but they can't. They don't know where COVID came from, and they don't know where Hillary's emails are. Woo! Have no idea where Hillary's emails are or COVID. Where did that come from? Definitely know that Putin's about to fucking reunite the fucking Soviet Union.
I
Right,
hope he
totally.
does. God damn.
All I have to say is,
And I have to say this: I am not for a country invading another country, right? But as someone who lives in America, I ain't got like what moral soapbox am I supposed to stand on to be like, Putin, you shouldn't invade another country like we did with Iraq and Afghanistan and Iraq and Vietnam and Libya and Somalia and Syria and don't do any of that sort of stuff that we ever did. Shame on you. Now that being said, I don't believe in aggressive war, but just from the massive tsunami of you cannot question this propaganda, I'm leaning toward Russia on this. Just because everybody's telling me that I have to be Ukraine or I'm evil.
isn't that
Right?
scary, bro? And isn't that scary how they paint this guy who literally doesn't fire a single weapon as some kind of king who's fighting with his own people, like Arthur, or like I don't know,
Oh, yeah.
fucking like what's the guy from Lord of the Rings? You know what I'm talking about? Rohan, the Riders of Rohan. Anyway,
You talking about
Lord of the
Aragorn,
Rings.
or are you talking about?
Aragorn.
He's got the
Yeah.
Riders of Rohan, man.
What?
I
I thought he
might
was his
not
son.
know my Star Wars, but I'm a Lord of the Rings guy.
Okay, so I thought his brother was Boromir, right?
No. Aragorn is descendant of the kings of Numenor. Denethor, who is the father of Boromir, and Faramir is descendant of the stewards who have been who were in
Oh
charge
yeah,
of Gondor while the kings were gone. So therefore, they're
Stewart.
related.
Okay, thank you for straightening me up. Thank you. That makes a lot more sense. Anyway, what were we talking about? Anyway, what were
Oh,
we talking about?
we were just talking about Putin and Russia and just how have you accepted your Lord and Savior Zelensky?
How do you respond to that when you're doing a report on news and if you say anything good about Putin at all, you're literally a Russian bot.
I don't hang out with the same people you do. Like the ones that
You
ever done
don't.
that to me.
It's like literally sacrilegious to say anything good about Putin. He's a war criminal. That's what they call him now on CNN.
Well, I mean, I'm sure he is. You don't become the leader of fucking the ex-Soviet Union without being a bad dude. I'm trying to say Putin's a good dude.
No, dude, but it's
Right?
just so funny. Like you said, like CNN saying the word war criminal. Like George W. Bush didn't murder thousands of Iraqis, cause a
Thousands,
power
well
vacuum,
over a million.
millions,
Yeah.
all over like Halliburton oil, and we're still occupying a third of Syria with the Saudis. They're about to bounce though, because we broke. And
Yeah.
we're starting to have no influence. I have noticed. NATO told us to shut the fuck up. We would try to talk about
Biden
Putin
has no
needs to
influence.
go. Yeah, Biden
Biden
has
has
no influence. He was like, for God's sakes, did you see him? For God's sakes, this man can't be allowed in power. Like literally, nobody cared. His own Jen Psaki before she left to go to MSNBC, be Rachel Maddow Jr. She was literally like, he's just trying to promote Western unity. I know what the guy is. He's in dementia and he thinks he's in Iraq war and he's
Well,
pushing resolution. That's
have
that's the
you
thing about these guys though. They have a
have
pattern.
you heard the line? And I don't know if and I mean everything happening in Ukraine right now is total complete fog of war. We have no idea what the hell's going on, right?
We know.
But have
True.
you heard the line that the globalists, the New World Order, the fuckers and chiefs do a lot of their dirty dealings through the country of Ukraine, and one of the reasons potentially that they are absolutely losing their shit is because somebody is going in there that they can't control.
Right?
And
Like who? Like
a lot
Putin?
of
Yeah.
the dirty dealings may be coming out because Putin might get a hold, or the Russian apparatus might get a hold of those dirty dealings. That's why
So,
Zelensky is Lord and Savior, because he's protecting.
are there any dirty
I'm
dealings in
not saying that that's the
particular
case. I'm just
you're
saying that's being
asserting?
posited.
Well, what are you asserting? Like, what dirty dealings are you asserting that's going on besides the board seat by a guy who doesn't know anything about energy?
You mean Hunter Biden? I don't know. Well, I mean, I've heard a lot about and again, this is rumor stuff. Is that a huge percentage of the child trafficking
Hmm.
for these pedophiles comes out of Ukraine.
Okay, so what's the
There's
evidence for this?
there's a lot of bio labs in Ukraine from the United
Yes,
States,
right.
right?
Our own government said that. Yes.
Right, that a lot of Clinton Foundation money is tied up in Ukraine. Stuff like this.
Right, and
I'm
so that is that why we're
picking up
spending
pieces of
eight
it.
hundred? Is that why we're spending $800 million in weapons to assist them? And how literally the Washington Examiner said we need to actually have boots on the ground. We need to regime change Putin. This is what they're pushing. Have you noticed that?
Yeah, wait. Remember that whole nuclear war thing? Like, two nuclear powers can't go to direct war with each other because everybody on Earth fucking dies. Did everybody forget about that?
Well, everybody forgot about it, and guess what? The two parties are once again locked in step. In fact, they want to outdo the Democrats, and they're about to be in power. I feel like they're gonna take the House, and they're probably gonna take the Senate. I already know what they're going to do. They do it all the time. These parties investigate each other, use these 9/11 style commissions to enact things that curtail our civil liberties. Meanwhile, they're going to invest the Democrats because the Democrats have been investigating them the whole time. We're going to have Benghazi Part 2. We're literally not. And then what? And then no policies from the Republicans.
That's I'm also thinking of then
And
what, because
that could go to nuclear war, like kicking the can down the road when we're talking about regime change. If we're
so
just going to take this path. Go ahead.
I have been interviewing more and more candidates and politicians on my show,
Yeah, me too.
and the caliber has been going up. I've interviewed some people from the a state representative, one state senator who's running for Secretary of State here, and next week I've got someone who's running for Congress. And I've interviewed two people running for Congress, but I don't know how strong of candidates they are. But this guy, I think, has a very significant shot at making it to Congress. And,
Is he challenging the incumbent? And he's a
yes.
Republican. Is he a Republican?
Yeah, yes.
Okay. So
He, regardless of whether or not these guys are Republicans or Democrats, is that I'm learning that if you're able to get in a conversational relationship with these people, you can start to influence them.
really, without money?
Without money. This is, remember that event that I had that you said you wish you could come to, but you're too far away?
Yeah.
That at that event, the people that I hosted, the Center for Self-Governance, they teach you how to develop relationships with, and it's not just politicians, it could be anybody in the governing sector, bureaucrat or elected, how to develop relationships and how to determine what motivates these people, so you can play off of their motivations, because that is what our Illuminati overlords do.
Right.
Right?
They
They
use
don't
money.
get the actual petitions of power. They know how to massage the people who are in positions of power. And if we
I see.
take, well, let's just take for the argument, for example, that Trump was a outsider that couldn't be controlled, and he had America's best interest at heart. Um, this would explain the absolute fucking freak out and the fact that they pulled all stops to get him out of there, because typically they could wine and dine whoever gets in charge, right? So going back to your point of what are the
They would have
Republicans
done
doing?
that already, wouldn't they? That's what they
What's
do with
that?
you, all the presidents. I mean, with Barack Obama, they like literally made him a Hollywood superstar, kissed his ass, and wine and
Well,
dined
yeah,
him.
well, and
His
I think
campaign,
Barack
campaign.
Obama was with whoever's the Illuminati overlords in the background, right?
They said he was a good middle manager, so I feel like he's not. I feel like he's still low. He's like a low
Yeah,
on the
but
totem pole.
he's low, but he's on their side,
Oh yeah, oh yeah,
right?
for sure.
Um, and we can pull out whatever conspiracy theory we want, whether Trump is or isn't on that side. Like I said, I'm just using it as a point of argument. Is
Okay,
that when if you get somebody in there who's saying, I'm going to stand up to all this, kind of like the pack of hyenas, they all jump on him, whether it's Democrat or Republican, doesn't matter,
right.
right?
They're gangbangers. That's why. Yes.
And I think being able to have the influence and the support of people from the below is a huge deal.
Right.
It's a huge deal. Let me
It
give you an
is.
example.
Yeah.
So, in the state of Washington, everybody has a voter portal login. And what I mean by that is you could log into your voter portal and see see where your address is registered, change your address, and see everything that you voted in the past, and you could print a replacement ballot, because we are 100% absentee ballot here. We've been that way for years. And when you print that ballot off, you could fill it out and send it in. Well, in order to log in to your voter portal, you just need somebody's name and birthday.
Okay.
And by law, the state, if you ask for it, has to give you the entire voter roll with everybody's names and birth date on it.
What about the voter ID number and all that? I don't know. That's
Well,
what about that?
I mean, there is an ID number associated with it, but what I'm saying is, right now, if you wanted to log into my voter portal, and if there was an election going on right now, all you need to do is my name and my birth date. You could log in and print off a replacement ballot, and if you had something resembling my signature, you could go and send it in.
That sounds like a lot of trouble for one vote.
But like I said, you can have all of the voter rolls with everybody's name
I
on
see.
it,
I see what you're saying.
and so which you know.
We could get Antifa to do it, right?
I don't think they're smart enough to do that. I think they have more intelligent people to do it. But whether or not it's being done, okay, and there's no evidence, because there's no way to
There
track it.
isn't. Otherwise, I'd know. I
The,
would. It's
the
very
decision,
irregular. I agree. Very
well,
irregular.
and there's no way to track it.
Yeah.
There's literally no way to track it unless you like search the IPs of people finding it, which the FBI could totally do if they don't, right?
They don't. They don't know.
So if you designed any security system like that,
Yeah.
I mean, that would just be fucking illegal. Like, can you
Yeah.
imagine designing a bank where it's like, oh yeah, we hand out, if you want it, we will give you everybody's login and password for everybody's bank account. All you have to do is ask for it, but don't log in. That's bad.
So, this is why I
Right?
feel a little bit why
So,
the vote doesn't even matter, and like why would
well,
they go through
hold
all
on,
this
hold on.
trouble?
Let me finish my point.
Okay, sorry. Go
So,
ahead.
furthermore, in the state of Washington, I've discovered that anybody can petition to change an administrative code. And by administrative code, I mean not the law, but you have the law, and then you have the code that enforces the law within the framework of the law, right? Any person anywhere can petition the government to change an administrative code. And so I'm thinking,
Okay.
I've already sent in the petition, is to say, hey, I don't think this is legal, and I went and I found the law that in Washington State, election data system, in an election data system, the security has to be commensurate with the sensitivity of the data. I find that I would say that this is very sensitive, and I said, I don't believe you're following the law. Please add a login and password to all of this. Now, I highly suspect that this isn't going to go anywhere. In fact, I got my first denial, but I can appeal it to a committee, and then I can take that appeal and I can actually appeal it to the governor. And so my plan here is to, once I kick it to committee, and I've already got the denial from the agency itself, the elections of the Secretary of State, and at each step they have to give the reason in writing why they're not doing it. Is at the committee, try to get as many people on there as possible to shine the flashlight on it. Once the committee's been kicked off, the committee's it's going to be denied the whole way through. I know. Once the committee denies it, I can push it up to the governor, and then the governor has to deny it in writing. And I believe even if he denies that in writing and it ends there, that's totally a win, because that's something to campaign on. However, the plan after that is to take it to court and say my personal data is open and available for anybody to take. And if I'm seeking remedy from the court, and Your Honor, I went through the proper process and I wasn't able to find any remedy that way, so I'm seeking remedy for the court. Now, even if that doesn't pass, in this next election, I want to at least stun it. Where, okay, there's too many people looking at this, or there's too much controversy with this court thing, whatever, just put it on hold while this stuff blows over. Well, if I can make that happen at the same moment that everybody hates the Democrats, like I said, maybe nobody's using it to cheat. I don't know, but if they are using it to cheat,
then what? What happened?
Then imagine all those. Again, this is predicated on the fact that somebody is using it to cheat, which I can't determine because there's no way to track it. If that gives a 1% edge or a 2% edge or a 3% edge over the people who are cheating in a lot of districts that are squeakers, how many elections would flip, particularly on this massive red wave that we're supposed to see? Now, with me doing that and having the politicians know that I've done that, what level of influence have I gained over the politicians that are really about election integrity?
That are really about election integrity? You mean there is one? There is one.
There is a politician who's about it.
A politician exists.
Yeah, there's at least one in our state, but I mean, like all the people running on election integrity, right? If they say, okay, look, I ran, I got in because of this massive red wave, and here's Dylan, who maybe theoretically, we don't know, helped us fix this one aspect that's really broken in our system.
It's broken in our system, but it's like literally, I mean, maybe it's a problem, Dylan, but literally, they've gotten the media, which was supposed to hold our politicians accountable and let us know what they're doing. They got the watchdog. They made it a lapdog, and they're doing propaganda. The media, which is supposed to hold these guys. So literally, this is why things aren't working right. And so this is what I mean. I don't understand, like, why vote when you're influencing everybody and everybody thinks it's right.
Well,
even after this,
I'm not. What I'm saying is, so I mean, first of all, you vote because it's not that fucking hard, right? But you don't just vote and think that you did something. And I'm saying this as somebody who was a non-voting anarchist not that long ago. Is that
you don't even think voting? You don't even vote? Like, are you non-voting anarchist?
I used to be a non-voting anarchist.
Okay. So you used to not vote. Okay, cool.
Correct. And voting is so fucking easy. Is that right? Yes, the whole thing is fucked up. However, if I can convince you that it's hopeless and you don't even try, I win. Period.
Okay, but is it not like just a rat trying to run through the maze of get there first?
If that's your only strategy, yes. But that's what I'm saying is I'm trying to give you an example of a further strategy to say, okay, this is what Dylan's doing to work on the way that the actual system is
pissing them off
so
they can destroy you. What's that? Pissing them off so they can destroy you and destroy your credibility, because that's what they'll do.
That's fine. I don't fucking shit about that.
You know that's what they'll do. They'll call you a transphobe, Russian apologist, Putin puppet.
I just agreed to all that. So what do I have over me? Yes, I'm all three of those things.
It's really scary, though. The media that's supposed to hold them accountable, though, is convincing these people. This is what I'm trying to convince Dan, because I feel like y'all right-leaning people don't really realize this. But these two parties have
You're
influenced
trying to convince Dan? Who's Dan?
Dan. Dan, he was a libertarian candidate for governor and president. He wears the hat. Taxation is theft. It's like you guys literally think that you could just play the games of the system that was rigged out of our favor and then win when they literally hold the keys. Hillary Clinton calls them the gatekeepers. They're called gatekeepers.
Yeah, but
They have the gates, they have traps, and they know what you're doing before you do. That's why Tulsi Gabbard is no longer she's no longer a congresswoman.
I'm trying to give the keys to you. If you shut up and listen for a second, is that
I get the keys and I go. Go ahead.
So they do know what we're doing if we act in the way that they expect us to. So we are the most studied creature on the face of the planet. And when we're in groups, our behavior is very, very predictable. And the predictability of the behavior can pretty much be summed up in, if something hits you, you are going to turn and look to find the closest thing to you to hit back. You don't pause and say, okay, let me verify what hit me.
I wonder what hit me. Why would you hit it back? You don't know what it is. It could be bigger.
So, well, I mean, this is what the whole Democrat-Republican divide is about. Okay. Is that, okay, you've got red ants and blue ants, or red ant and black ants, because ants are actually black and red. If you stick them in a jar together, they don't fight. If you shake the jar, the red ants and the black ants will start fighting each other. Instead of trying to attack the hand doing the shaking, right?
Okay. So,
for example, you say, okay, let's turn on all this COVID stuff. Let's apply all these mask mandates. Mm-hmm. Well, here's a group over here saying, well, Dr. Fauci is my Lord and Savior. I'm going to wear this mask mandate because I'm a member of the new religion. And if anything you say against this is heresy, and you've got the patriots over here going, well, I'm a free breather, and this is offending my rights. So let's fight about it. Who's the winner?
Right. Everybody loses, right?
No, the winner is someone like Bill Gates, who is shaking the jar. Okay, so on that, in that aspect, yes, they do have everything predicted. Here's what they don't have.
But they're not just shaking the jar. This is what I'm telling you, is that they have a media that's reporting that not only are they not shaking the jar, but you are, because you hate.
No, they are shaking it. I mean, we're at the risk of taking the metaphor.
Let me show you what the media is.
I know what the media fucking does. You don't have to show me.
But
let me finish the point. Wait, let me finish the point.
Okay,
I am trying to give you the fucking keys, and you keep interrupting me.
I'm sorry. I had an agenda. I had a gay agenda. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
We can get your gay agenda fucking later.
I have an agenda. Go ahead. Finish your point.
Yeah, well, the point takes a second, man.
I know, bro. You make me think so many things. Sometimes I'm like wrapped up in all the points you're making. Go ahead.
So yes, on one hand, we're predictable. Here's their weakness, is that the way that they work is, like I said, that they learn how to influence the people in power. Is if we watch what they're doing and we learn how to influence the people in power, their calculations are not only not taking that into account, they believe we are not capable of doing it because we don't have free will. Free will is required for you to say, okay, bam, something hit me. Before I run around and hit whatever's in front of me, I'm going to think a little harder and see where the strike is actually coming from and go for the person who actually made that strike. They are not calculating us to do that, right? Let me give an example. So I don't know if you are aware, the goal of what's coming down the pipeline, because these people plan in 10, 20, 100,000, pick your conspiracy timelines, is one of the next stages of the tyranny is supposed to come through regional healthcare districts. And you see this with Fauci, and you see this with Psaki. What the fuck's her first name?
Jen.
Jen.
Like
Thanks.
Jennifer.
Yeah,
Like Jennifer, but
Jen
not.
Psaki. Is we don't think that people in the judicial system, we don't think judges should have a say in public health policy. That should be left to the public health experts.
I
Right?
thought that was so funny, that article on NPR where they're like, somebody said the judge misinterpreted public health laws. I'm like, he's a judge. What do you know, NPR?
Your law is getting in the way of our public health. Right. So the regional
It was
healthcare districts.
so presumptuous. Go ahead.
Yeah. Well, the regional healthcare districts are supposed to roll out. And this is where the new tyranny is supposed to come from, where the new law is going to be more and more this crazy, you're wearing a mask, you're not wearing a mask, you're vaccinated, you're not vaccinated, you took off your mask before you sat down, and bullshit like that, right? And less things that we traditionally consider to be crime, like stealing stuff, right? I mean, take San Francisco, for example. If it's not $1,000, you can just walk in and take whatever you want and walk out, because then the police can't do anything. Seattle's turning into the same thing. Where I live is turning into the same thing too. So it's the real crime going down, less of importance, and more this COVID crap. And the regional healthcare authority is supposed to come in, and where the authority goes to here to create the new law, which is outside of the realm of our traditional avenues of the people being able to access the people who create these laws and create these policies. So they've been pushing this. They've been attempting to push this in Washington State, and the word on the street, let me put it that way, is that the students of the techniques that I've been talking about here have not only killed it in committee, because it got tried to be passed through the legislature. They got it killed in committee. It was also trying to the powers that be also tried to get it through administratively. They got that killed in the advisory meetings as well. So being able to make these chess moves as the Illuminati overlords are coming in saying, okay, here's how we increase the tyranny, to say, okay, no, we're one step ahead of you, and preventing you from doing that, and fixing the system in our wake. They are not. It's not in their ability to even comprehend that we can do that, and that is a completely different animal from us going, all right, oh my God, you're trying to put a mask on me, meh. Oh, vaccines, meh. Oh, gay agenda, meh. You know, again, not that those things aren't important, but they're symptoms, they're not causes.
They are symptoms, not causes.
They're symptoms, not causes. Yeah.
The cause is what Julian Assange stated, and that's we don't have a media that to hold politicians accountable. It really is a root of a huge problem.
No, I would even go.
I would blame the media for everything,
too.
Especially Joe Biden. Check out what they're doing right now.
I think we're all petrified of what Mariupol is going to look like once we get a good idea of there and what's happened in the Donbas region. It's likely going to be worse, Senator. It's tough to watch.
I have exactly the same feelings you do. And I just wonder, ultimately, what we will do, the lengths we will go to stop Putin. And we are naive, General Milley said yesterday, we're naive to believe that this is all going to be wrapped up in a matter of weeks or months. I'm afraid Vladimir Putin has struck out on a course that, as long as he's in control of those Russian military forces, puts at risk not only Ukraine, which we know today, tomorrow Poland, the day after Baltics. I mean, there's no end to this man's
Is there a point where we are obligated?
Nations.
Do you think there's a point where we're obligated to help more than we are, more than just with sending weapons, but maybe?
Hey there, Chuck Todd. I've never been in a war. I don't even know how to shoot a weapon. Is there any way we could help Ukraine? Like, it's just hard to watch. I watched millions of Iraqis die on my TV, but this is just war crimes. I just like, shouldn't we be out there right now? General Milley said. General Milley fucking said.
General Milley, who lost all of our technology, $80 billion worth of our technology to the Taliban. Yeah, that guy.
Yeah, they just literally, Dylan, for real, bro. They just fucking embarrassed themselves in Afghanistan. Now they went at it with Putin. This is what I'm talking about. These guys. I
Well,
mean, you
that
say
that
that
mean that media
you can
clip
influence them. They're literally.
that was so obviously scripted. I mean, give me a break. It's like,
Do you
how
think?
do I feed you the exact questions that I need to feed you to make sure that we put the narrative in the direction we want to go, which is that maybe we should go to war with Ukraine?
So this is literally the scariest thing because they've been doing this on nonstop since Trump was elected. They fed Rachel Maddow lines, the CIA director, about Steele dossiers, and she said him. She's not in trouble. Hillary Clinton's not in trouble for feeding the story or the birther thing, by the way. But for some reason, her lawyer's in jail. They found a Russian. It turns out a Russian was working for the Hillary Clinton campaign, and he fucking lied to the FBI. So they got 3 people in there. One of them's already declared guilty. Sussman is probably going to plead the fifth because that's what Clinton lawyers usually do, and they're going to get away with it again until the Republicans get into power and do another Benghazi. Right? They're going to spend a year on this. But guess what? The FBI and the CIA work for the Democrats. So they're not going to find a goddamn thing. And here we are with Lindsey Graham wanting to nuke Europe. That's one of those things. Is the red
That
wave
guy's got to
scares me a
go.
little bit.
Like that guy is such a
There's
fucking
some
faggot.
Warhawks.
I mean,
There's some Warhawks that scare the shit out of me. He's literally, now that John McCain's dead, he feels even angrier. He was talking about how he wants to kill people in China. And we might the fallout in Europe. We'll give him nukes and then some. That's what he said. This guy.
that guy, the evil waggles on his face.
Yeah, I agree. Like Jello. These people should not be allowed to talk on TV. But he goes on Hannity, and guess what? No questions. Oh, I like Zelensky. Hannity said he doesn't salute his people with a latte like Obama. Like literally, these people like Zelensky more than Obama now. Oh my God, the propaganda goes strong, bro. So you really think that you can take the media, take all of this? Like it's attrition to our civilization and our society. Sometimes to think opposite is literal. Like you don't know what people will think, right? Don't you get scared just asking a liberal what time it is the wrong way because she might think you're a fucking transphobe, Russian asset, and you're
I don't
canceled.
get out and talk to
She'll
people
call
that
your
often.
boss, talk about how you're selling lemonade on the counters. I mean, these liberals have lost their fucking minds, bro. First they believe
These people don't scare me, and
they were the ones, Dylan, calling police on black people. They don't want to admit it, but they were.
yeah.
Who else is in the Harvard common room but the fucking liberals, white liberals, who are afraid of some black guys sleeping in the fucking common? Like these are the people that are calling them. They're so inconvenienced. First thing you do, call the cops. Now they want to fund the cops. Dylan, I'm having an ideological crisis because I've stayed myself progressive. I thought we didn't like the FBI or the deep state. Government was supposed to work for us, and turns out everybody should pay their fair share. Instead, private companies are God. We could let them do whatever they want unless Elon Musk buys Twitter.
Well, yeah, unless no, I mean,
I just don't even know what to do anymore.
Alleviate your pain.
I don't know what I am anymore. What am I? Who knows? What God?
Let me try to alleviate your pain here. Is that if you try to make sense of the nonsense, you will go crazy.
Yeah.
What I'm suggesting is you look at the underlying currents here. And the underlying current here is that there's an agenda and there's people who want power. If you view it in that light, everything suddenly becomes completely consistent. Right. And we can play the game of saying, okay, let's try to continuously deconstruct what's going on. And I'm not trying to poo-poo that because that's totally important. Someone's got to be continuously deconstructing what's going on because look at the effect that it's had over the last, say, 10 years since we've really had access to the internet. It has had a huge effect. However, just deconstructing what's going on isn't enough.
Right. You're right.
We need to learn how to make these relationships in order to very specifically put the system back together, at least starting the way that was designed. Once we get it back to that, we could say, okay, is there a way that we can improve on this? And the way that you do that is you learn how to gain influence and game the system in the same way that the people who want us dead game the system.
Can you give me an example of right now about like how to do that? Like how do I start to do that?
I've been giving you fucking examples the whole time, man.
Oh, I really? I thought I heard ants in a jar shaking it.
Okay, I gave you the thing about me trying to affect the piece of the election integrity here. I told you the thing about the regional healthcare districts. I told you about the event that I had where they teach you how to do that sort of stuff. Let me give you the example.
All of this stuff culminating is going to affect the change.
If enough people get on fucking board and learn how to do this.
Okay. Right.
So let me give you another example. I interviewed a woman by the name of Diane Hardy, who is a student of the Center for Self-Governance, which is this event that I hosted. Right. Mm-hmm. She's a veteran CSG student from 8 years or something like that. She's in South Carolina. She regularly has more than 10% of the state legislature showing up to her events.
Why?
Because she spent the time developing relationships with them. And I mean, go listen to the interview to get it specific. I'm paraphrasing and trying to remember what she told me from back then. But basically, you know, she's working on, okay, how do we put the system back together? And she knows that you do it through the people who have the power to do so. The people who have power to do so, even if they're good people, they don't know what's going on, right? So if you could help them do that, I mean, okay, let me give you another example. So school boards are all the rage right now, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And people going after school board positions. And what a lot of people are finding, because there's a lot of, we'll call them patriots running for these school board positions, is that so that they're winning, but they get in there and they realize that their hands are tied.
Right.
And the powers that be, part of the goal is to remove the boundaries between power. And so, and I'm sorry I keep bringing up Washington State, I just know it better because I live here, right? Is that in Washington State, we have something called the Washington State School District Association. So it's kind of like the state version of the National School Board Association, right? In Washington State, by law, all school board members must be members of WASDA. Washington State School District Association, right? And then WASDA controls what they do. So what that did is that erased a barrier between what is supposed to be the school boards working independently and the state doing whatever, you know, the state is supposed to be doing. So how do you put that barrier back, right? Well, you have, and the politicians in charge don't necessarily understand the impact of that, right? And they don't need to if you can influence them. You just gotta, you might just have to put the carrot in front of their face, going, "Okay, all your voters are going to like this if you do this," you know, that sort of thing. Is
right.
If you can convince politicians to work in order to put these barriers back, now you're really, really winning, because removing those barriers is the goal here. Because if you can remove those barriers,
you're right.
The ultimate goal is to have a one control system where you have one group of people that just controls everything with no checks and balances. And the whole idea behind America,
and that's what they want.
So many checks and balances that nobody could get all the power.
So you really think that these good, honest people that have joined a gang, the Republican Party, one of the oldest gangs in the history of our country, that let me just tell you from experience, Medicare for all, everybody loved it. Okay, Kamala Harris co-signed on it. Once the gangbangers started gangbanging the blood in, blood out, and talking about the Democratic Party and their love for private insurers, guess who wasn't even responsible for Medicare for all? Guess who never even co-signed for Medicare for all? Guess who didn't even know what Medicare for all was? I just thought I was signing it. What? Haha. I haven't been to the border. Yeah, so like you don't think you're
trying to make sense of the nonsense.
No, I'm just trying to ask you a question, which is like, you really have faith in their courageous virtue enough to know like,
are you listening to what I'm saying?
You know that they're part.
Are you listening to what I'm saying?
I am, but are you listening to what I'm saying?
Yeah,
they're involved
based on what you just said, I feel like you didn't pick up the important part of what I was saying.
You said you were in. You
learn how to influence these people.
Yeah, right.
The less courage and virtue that they have, the easier they are to influence.
Okay, there may be something I'm not getting, because how is your influence going to stand up to their own party's influence?
You learn how to influence the party too.
Okay.
Let me give you an example. So, my original thought, and not that I still think this is a good thought. I've just gotten busy, and this is not on high on my priority list. Was to start taking over local Republican parties by becoming PCOs or committee man or precinct committee officers. Every state has a different name, but basically the party apparatus in every county in the country, both Democrat and Republican, and probably Libertarian or too, whatever, is that every precinct has what's called a precinct committee officer or a precinct committee man or whatever. That's an elected position, just like the mayor or the president or something that you can run for. And then once you have that position, you become a member of the legislative body of your county party. And that legislative body votes on its leaders, and then they together decide, who they're going to support, what are the bylaws going to be, what who are we going to endorse, blah, blah,
Like
blah.
locally, like mayor and school district and all that. I know.
Yeah, and then in Washington State, again, every state's going to do its own thing. Is each county party elects 2 people from the county to go to the state party, and the state party has a body, right? So when I discovered this, because I had no idea that this was even a thing. I had no idea that this was even a thing. I called my local Republican Party and I said, "Is my precinct open?" Because I also learned that the chairman of the county party can appoint people to this position if the position is empty. I said, "Is my precinct open?" And I found out that there were 735 precincts in my county, of which 211 of them were filled.
With the precinct captain, manager, chair.
Yeah, captain.
I'm sorry, I'm trying to follow you. I'm ready.
Yeah, well, it doesn't matter what the name is, but yeah, of the precinct officer, there were 735 positions available. Only 211 of them were taken.
What's happening with the others that are vacant?
They just sit there. They just sit there. No one's taking them. And of those 211 people who have those seats, that doesn't mean everybody's showing up. And what immediately went through my head is, okay, if half of those people are showing up, that means 100 people are at these meetings, which means if I get 51 of my friends signed up, we own the fucking local Republican Party.
So if they're not, just a question, who's electing the county party people if these positions are not filled in these precincts? Who's electing those?
Well, there's, I'm just going to use easy numbers. There's 200 out of 700. Those 200 would show up to the meeting and they would elect.
Okay. For other precincts that aren't full?
No, so not for other precincts, but say like the county chairman, the county vice chairman, the county treasurer, the secretary, and then the 2 people who go on to the state position.
I see what you're saying. Okay.
Yeah. So my original idea was to take over the Republican Party because I felt that the Republican Party is reformable, whereas the Democratic Party is completely gone. However, now
why is that?
Hold on. That I've learned since I've stated that is the Republican Party is full of so many fucking snakes that are pretending to be Republicans that it's really hard to determine who is and who isn't a good player here. I have the sneaking suspicion that the Democratic Party has so far gone into left field, pun intended, that if you go in there, there's no worry figuring out who's nuts and who isn't. So theoretically, the same thing could happen to the Republican Party. Your local Democratic Party, where you say, okay, here's me, and let's find 50 or 100 people in this county. Let's all run for the fucking office because it's an electable position.
Right.
Like you don't need fucking permission. It's an electable position. You get in there and you say, okay, we're going to vote for our leadership, and now you just own the fucking county party. It's yours.
Interesting.
Are you listening to me?
I am listening. Is that something you're planning on doing? Because I want to see you do it.
So that was on my agenda for the Republican side at some point. But I have decided that I have bigger fish to fry, and I'm going to leave that to other people.
Bigger fish to fry.
Yeah, but I now that I'm thinking about it, I think the Democratic Party would be an easier win.
How?
Because, in the Republican Party, there's so many snakes pretending not to be snakes that it's there's so much backstabbing. Whereas in the Democratic Party, everyone's so fucking nuts. It's like, yeah, you're nuts. Stay over there. don't come to my
So,
side.
like, what exactly is crazy, and what's like? Because like it's the same thing. Manchin and Sinema are in the Democratic Party. They don't do any kind of FDR. FDR would literally primary these two immediately. Joe Biden's asleep. But okay, but
You're talking about Democrats that make sense.
who are the snakes? But who are the snakes? Like, I just don't know. I'm just
talking
trying to
about the
understand
identity politics.
how you think
Black Lives Matter.
Crazy? Who's crazy?
Yeah, I'm talking about the people. Did you or did you not see that video that came out of the Democratic Socialists of America a couple years ago of the meeting that they had, where they couldn't even have the meeting because everybody was fighting about the fact that they were offended about something.
Okay, that's
right.
stupid.
Like, okay, nobody clap because some people that they have an issue where with loud noises they get upset, and then somebody comes up and it's like, I'm trying to listen and there's people whispering and I'm trying to concentrate.
Oh, okay.
And then someone raises their hand and is like, you stop using gendered language because it's
leave Nancy Pelosi alone. She's not well.
and so.
So you say, yeah, okay, I get what you're saying.
I believe that's what the Democratic meetings are starting to look like, right? And so it's not, you don't have to worry like about this person says that he's for election integrity and he wants to get CRT out of schools and he wants to get the sex ed out of schools, and this guy sounds like he's really on my side, and he backstabbed me in the last second. Right? That's what happens on the Republican side.
Right, it does.
Right? And then, I mean, even for, I mean, you always bring it up here for all, right? Health insurance is a big deal. And, or I should say healthcare is a big deal. Is that what we have right now is like the worst of all worlds.
It is. It's like,
right.
If I usually buy weed for like $20 and then I ask a middleman to hook me up and he says, oh yeah, I'll give you some weed for $100, but I usually pay 20.
And by the way, it's not weed, it's actually something else.
Yeah, exactly, bro. It's giving me cancer and shit. Like, this is bad.
Yeah,
we can't even lower the cost of prescription drugs because
it takes like the worst aspects of a private system and the worst aspects of a government system and mixes them together.
That was the whole point of Obamacare, just so everybody knows.
Yes, absolutely.
That was the whole point.
So,
to be clear.
How to fix that, I think we can go in either direction and it would be substantially better.
Oh, I agree.
Than whatever we have.
But you know what? That's why Joe Biden, even though he talked about expanding Obamacare and all this shit, turns out he's much more interested in regime change in Russia.
Yeah,
that's what he knows.
Well, Joe Biden had to deal with the fact that there is not that there isn't a schism in both parties right now, but there is a incredible schism in the Democratic Party right now.
What do you mean schism?
A schism is a vacation. It's typically used in religious terms, right?
I know what a schism is, but what do you mean? How?
I'm talking about the progressives versus neoliberals.
We're not even in the party anymore. Like, literally, that was what my whole episode is. The divorce. Literally, that party is fucking. It needs to be burned down.
But okay, let me pick the crazies versus the neoliberals, right?
You guys, okay, I see what you're saying.
You know what I'm talking about, the crazies, right? And so there's a split that's happening down the middle where on the Republican side, the two sides can kind of get together and talk. The progressives and liberals can't get together and talk.
Yeah, because they're literally only wanting to. They would literally sell out their own parents and family for fucking money. Like, literally, they would.
Neoliberals are really bad. And
but they have neocons over there on the other one.
Yeah,
but how awesome it is.
What I'm saying is with
New Hiroshima.
Neocons,
we should do it again.
The language of the neocons can kind of sort of overlap the language of the patriots.
Really?
Yes.
That's weird. That's kind of weird.
I mean, the patriots are falling for it less and less, trust me. But it can kind of sort of overlap. That overlap isn't happening at all between the progressives and the libs.
Yes.
Not at least a little bit.
Yeah. They have the same fucking game over and over again. It's really old. You want to see something funny? I'll check this out, Dylan. I'm playing this.
Hello, it's Nancy Pelosi. I'm reaching out to personally ask you to support Charlie Crist's campaign for governor of Florida. I've worked with Charlie for the past 6 years in Congress, and I've seen him fight for Floridians every single day. He always puts people first. He'll be a champion for women's reproductive rights, create opportunities for small business owners, and always show empathy and compassion for our working families. It's a stark contrast to the current governor. Florida, you deserve better. We have an excellent chance to elect a Democratic governor in Florida. That's why I'm asking you to join me in supporting Charlie. Rush a donation in today and be sure to vote for Charlie Crist for governor. Thank you. Hello, it's Nancy Pelosi. I'm reaching out to personally ask you to support Charlie Crist's campaign for governor of Florida.
Hey guys, this is Tommy with Tommy Nation Politics. How's everyone doing today? Hi, I'm Nancy Pelosi. Vote for Charlie Crist. He has empathy. He's very left wing. He also likes to read books, and he's lovely for schools. He likes gays and blacks. Vote for Charlie Crist. Drop a donation in there. Also, like literally, this is the first time I've ever seen Nancy Pelosi endorse anybody because she hates everyone.
I think that's the first time I've heard her not sound drunk.
She was sounding drunk the whole time, bro. She's like, he loves in empathy and he loves the children with the child.
She didn't
Remember
have,
when
like,
I lost the
shaky
CARES Act, the Heroes Act?
wobble. Yeah.
It was like when she was writing the Heroes Act, and she was like, "It's gonna honor our workers and our food service workers," and she ended up not she passed it through the House, disappeared because Trump asked for a stimulus on Twitter.
Wait. Are you looking
Bye
forward
bye Heroes Act.
Are you
What?
looking forward to the moment when the Republicans take the House and Nancy Pelosi gets kicked out of Speaker of the House position?
So
I'm afraid who they replace her with, but I am
nobody's
looking forward.
replacing her.
What's
Ever.
that?
She's the real leader of the country, bro. She's the one who makes all the decisions. Nobody else. Nancy or nobody.
But if Republicans take the House, then
Thank you, George Floyd. Thank you for your sacrifice. Thank you for your sacrifice, George Floyd. Hallelujah. So
sacrificed a lot of that fentanyl.
I'm like, so I honestly believe, Dylan, that this Kevin McCarthy guy he's from California. He's a California politician. He's just like Nancy Pelosi. In fact, he's a mealy-mouthed coward, just like she is too. Talking about how Trump should resign and then going, "Oh no, Mr. Trump, what I meant was, oh, you should totally just." Yeah, bro. Everybody around Trump is a bunch of cowards and snakes. So that's what I'm talking about the Republican Party. Like, I don't see them much difference. I really don't. They're all liar snakes that only work out for their own interests at the end of the day.
Okay, can I give you an example?
That's why Joe Biden's not running again.
Well, let me give you this example from the local. It's so
you're right, from the
drama-malicious.
Local's different story. You're right.
This is so drama-malicious. You love it. So we've got a state representative. I just interviewed him last week, who, for all intent and purposes, he seems to be a very America First, fuck the deep state sort of guy. And then I'm not getting into whatever those mean for the second. That's the persona that he's giving, right? And his constituents love him for that. And everybody on Capitol Hill, like not Capitol Hill, but both the Democrats and the Republicans like him, even though he's a Republican. So he's running for re-election, and a person who's running against him is another Republican by the name of Sam Lowe, who's currently a county councilman, right? And everybody's looking at Sam Lowe going, why are you running against this guy? He's doing a great job. And it turned out that this Republican county councilman has now publicly and openly endorsed a Democratic county prosecutor. A Democratic county prosecutor when there's a really good Republican candidate available, and now the people are coming in and going, okay, you're trying to take Robert Sutherland's job and you're endorsing Democrat for county prosecutor? Like, what are you doing? He ended up. Sorry, I had to tell you the best part of when people asked him, why are you endorsing the Democratic guy or Republican guy? And I'm not trying to get into who that here, but typically the party should be endorsing its own party, right? He said, well, I know him, the Democratic candidate. And people are going, well, go meet the other guy and know him. It's like it's literally your fucking job. And then, lo and behold, we also find out that the guy is actually intending to keep both positions. I don't understand how this is legal, but he wants to get the state rep job, which pays $60,000 a year, and keep his county councilman job, which pays $130,000 a year. And he I think I can do it because I only work about 3 hours a day on the county job.
That's about how much Nancy Pelosi works on the U.S. Act.
So here's what happened: is like this is total snake in the grass. Rhino, Republican in name only, totally looking out for his own political gain, right? And is willing to backstab whoever is in his way, doesn't give a shit, and is giving really bad answers for why he got censored by his local party. Two of my friends are PCOs in the party, and they were there when it happened, and voted on it when it happened. And he got censored in the local party because of him trying to take this guy's seat and for endorsing the Democratic candidate. And I guess he was just left in a fucking huff. He was so pissed off at everybody. But the reason I bring up the example is that they're starting to get enough clear-headed people who are sick of this bullshit, sick of these, because rhino is a big word on the Republican side right now. Like, are you a rhino? Are you a rhino? Are you a rhino? Because if you are, get the fuck out of here. Is identifying rhinos, whatever exactly that is, identifying them and getting them out. And I just, locally, just let you know, it's happening.
I know that's something that the Alpha wants a lot. When he returns back to his throne room for coronation for 2024, right? Is Trump making way the path? Do you think that Trump running again is helpful? What do you think
Yes.
about that whole thing?
I'm pro-Trump.
I know.
Yeah.
I'm not. But it's cool.
I think it's helpful.
I don't hate him, but I don't know.
I'm glad he lost in 2020 because everybody on the right was waiting for him to save everybody, and they weren't getting involved because they were waiting for this Jesus Christ mythology rapture thing. Not literally, but it's the same
literally.
concept. Well, I mean, there are some people who are literally, but even the people who do not believe in it literally, they're doing the same thing, which is to say, okay, Trump's in office, I'm just going to not do anything and have him handle it. Well, after the steal was so fucking big and obvious, cock in everybody's face, everybody got panicked and like, I need to get personally involved in this, which is what we're seeing right now. And so if he does get back, and if he's not just some fucking plant and is actually a part of the deep state, I don't fucking know. I don't think so. Otherwise, the media wouldn't have jumped down his throat so hard. If he's back, he knows who backstabbed him, and he's got a swelling amount of real support from the bottom. I think that is a much better position to be in than what he would have been had he won 2020.
Okay.
And then hopefully that can be utilized to start putting the barriers back together, to put the country back together in some sort of semblance.
So you make a lot of sense with that, even though I'm not, like I said, a Trump fan. He did some great things. One of the things that I loved that he did was he got some FBI and CIA clearances revoked. He was cleaning house on the people that were torturing in our name and fucking doing that shit. And they ended up, I feel like they're the reason, Dylan, not the fraud, but the CIA and the FBI literally was the one that what caused all of this heartache for him. He's still being investigated by them. They hate him because of that shit.
He got hit from every single fucking angle possible. And the fact that he still got that position, being hit from every single angle fucking possible, is like, I can't even fathom.
He's being sued $10,000 a day in contempt. Is that a good position? What he's in right now? I wouldn't be I want to be in that position.
If you've got billions and billions and you can afford it, like, what's $10,000 a day, right?
You really believe he's a billionaire? Okay.
You don't think he's a billionaire?
I think the reason he doesn't want to see this whole thing, to me, okay, this is just my opinion. I don't mean to hate on him, but the whole thing to me is a Celebrity Apprentice facade, where she pretends to be the boss. He pretends to be the big guy, and in reality, he literally failed at casino. He bankrupted casinos. Not very smart. Didn't write his own book. And at the end of the day, you're going to see that he's not a billionaire, and that's going to mess up his entire fucking whole agenda. Like that's going to make him not the boss anymore, and then he's going to lose alpha credit.
I do.
He's got to make
address
sure
the casino
that his
thing.
tax returns are never seen.
Why
Everybody's
does
gonna
everybody
know.
think running a casino is easy?
Because there's songs about how the house always wins.
Okay.
There's songs about it.
Okay. There's the proof right there. How many casinos have you ran?
I'm just saying it's argument about populum. I haven't run a goddamn casino, but I
How
would
many
love
people do
to.
you know who ran casinos?
Well, before Sheldon Adelson ran them, there were Native Americans that did.
No, they don't fucking run. The people
And
they hire people from Las Vegas that run those
and
things.
Trump. That's why I mean, Adelson did bankroll Trump.
This is just a pet peeve of mine. So Donald Trump started like 500 businesses. Some of them went bankrupt.
Yeah.
The fact that the number ended up being like 1% of the 500 went bankrupt, right?
Right.
If you've got
He's an entrepreneur, he doesn't put his ideas in it. It's
What's
just a
that?
business. It's just a business he funds. It's not something like he put his heart and soul into and created. He's just an entrepreneur.
You see, you're moving the goalpost. None of that shit matters. The fact is he did it.
I know it just matters to me because I'm a leftist and I feel like you should love your work. You should enjoy yourself. Do something quality.
It sounds like
quality.
He put deals together. And
he does like putting deals. He put some good deals.
And if he didn't write his own book, who gives a shit?
I see. I do.
Why would you possibly give a shit? Like, okay.
As an artist, come on. Why wouldn't you give a shit? Did you give a shit when Kobe Calais said, "Will you count me in?" Bitch, aren't you a musician? You can't count yourself in, Kobe Calais? You're going to say you're the art of the deal and you write your book and you're so smart you don't write your own book? Come on, bro.
But he doesn't need to write his own book. Why would he need to write his own book?
Because he's a man and men write their own books. They also zip their pants up.
If he's that wealthy and he hire a ghostwriter and say, "Here's the ideas, put it together," why the fuck up?
I think it's gross, but okay.
If he's writing a novel, yeah, I'd agree.
If he's writing something that people want to read because people want to be inspired by him, because he's a man that's supposedly a great man, how's he going to inspire people with his fake ass book and his ghostwriter? This guy is a.
Okay. Now, if he had a ghostwriter, does that mean the things that the ghostwriter wrote about were fake?
He's the ghost. You know how ghostwriters are. They relay what did he do? He confers with them. Still, not his book.
Yeah.
Right? Not his personal experiences. Not his perspective.
I read the book. I was fucking impressed with.
You're impressed with his ghostwriter, Dylan. Congratulations.
So if when he describes a deal that he did, or the ghostwriter describes a deal that he did he or did he not do that deal?
Okay, so that's what's important to you. I get it.
It's called the art of the fucking deal. Who cares who wrote it?
I mean, I care who wrote it because I care about the principle of the fact.
Okay.
Do you care at all about the principle of the fact that he didn't?
The principle of the fact is that I want to learn.
Why would you even have a book, Dylan? Why would you even have a book if you didn't want to share your insights and experiences in your? Why wouldn't you? Why would you even want to write a book?
So did he? So even if there was a ghostwriter, does that mean that he didn't share his insights?
He did with the ghostwriter, not with me and the book.
So what? Maybe he's bad.
It's hearsay. It's hearsay.
Okay, so when he's going into,
I mean, it just is.
Like I said, I read the book, and he goes into explicit detail on, okay, here was this deal, then this thing happened, and then this thing was a lawsuit, and then I had to raise the financing, and the mayor had this problem with me, and
those are all facts, not interesting literature or insight or anything of substance that I could get to know his personality and perspective.
This isn't a novel. We're not getting the Lord of the Rings. We're not getting the Lord of the Rings here, right? We're not getting Dune. We're not getting fucking whatever novel that you're thinking about.
I'm not thinking about any novel. I'm just thinking about that's how from art, you get to know a person.
It's practicality.
Literature is art. I'm sorry.
But this is
under the fine arts and the liberal arts section of the college.
It's literally called the art of the deal.
You've been fact-checked by academia.
It's literally called the art of the deal.
So bottom line is you don't care about his fact that he was too lazy to put his fucking pen to paper like the founding fathers did, this president that you like so much. and write his constitution. He just got a ghostwriter to do it, but it's not important. What if George Washington just got some fucking scribe to fucking write the Constitution? That would be so much more exciting.
George Washington wasn't involved in writing the Constitution.
Benjamin Franklin, you know what I'm talking about, bro. I mean, isn't the magic gone, bro? When Glenn Beck pulls out the Constitution and starts to shine it around, talking about Thomas Jefferson wasn't racist. It's what says. This says. You see that there? It says one nation. I see that. You see that? Glenn Beck, bro.
I don't watch Glenn Beck at all.
How come you don't how come you don't watch these guys?
Because I got more productive things to do with my life, like do deals.
That's like your opinion, man. Okay, so difference of opinion though. You like the deals. I like the art.
No, I do like art. But I didn't pick up a book called The Art of the Deal in order to see art.
So after a while, I loved Harry Potter. After a while, I got to know J.K. Rowling. Like, I knew what she was going to do after the trans thing. She doesn't like bullies. I know J.K. Rowling doesn't like bullies, and she doesn't like fascism. She doesn't like people forcing things, and she believes that everybody should be free to experience the magic of their own lives. Mm-hmm. I know this because she was talking about childbirth, and the people said that was anti-trans. Now, everybody thought she was anti-trans because she was talking about childbirth, but really what they did was they told her not to talk about childbirth when they said she was anti-trans. So what is that going to make a woman who invented the character Dolores Umbridge and all of these fascist people? What do you think she's going to do to people who tell her not to do something? She's going to go balls to the wall, all in. And that was that little feud that was going on with the trans community and J.K. Rowling. Is that you tell this woman who's created a magical world, that she has to be a muggle? Then she's going to be... Sorry, Professor, I cannot tell lies. I am a witch. I'm a wizard. I know J.K. Rowling. I know her. I'll never know Trump. Not his words, not his feelings, not his thoughts, not his emotions. Nothing about him in that book except for the words he says. Except for the words he says.
Why would you expect to get that from a book called The Art of the Deal?
You're right. You're right about that.
I'm sorry.
Also, I would probably
maybe he's a really shitty
read
writer.
And he's like,
maybe he's like, I'm a really shitty writer. I can't write a book. And however, I'd like to be able to share these ideas and these experiences that I have, so I can hire somebody to write this book for me. You know, Malcolm X didn't write his own autobiography.
Did he go through college? He graduated from Wharton, right? He can use that degree. You can use that degree, Donnie. Donnie, did you take English composition 1013? I did. I know what a pronoun is.
Anybody use their degree?
I know. Bro. Okay, so you convinced me in this. It's a piddly little stupid thing that a nitpicky thing, but it still bothers me. But go ahead.
Yeah, like I said, if he had written a story, I would completely agree with you.
Okay, you're probably right. You're convincing me, honestly. Like maybe I'm overreacting.
I mean,
because he wrote The Art of the Deal, but still,
I mean, it's kind of like I mean, I'll keep bringing up Tolkien because he's one of my favorite guys. If I found out that Tolkien just like robbed all of his ideas from somebody else, I would be fucking furious.
Right. Okay, so
that was like the fantasy and the creation of his own mind and heart and soul that got poured into the creation of this world. Like that's not the art of the deal. It's like I built that building over there.
Man, I gotta start. I guess I should start reading actual information that can help me and stop the stories. I'm such a daydreamer, I swear to God.
Well, I used to be, and I had to change.
I have to change.
Yeah, I used to read nothing but fantasy. Then I switched to nothing but sci-fi, and at some point I'm like, why am I reading this shit?
I like art history more because it's like fiction but real. How in the hell did this happen? Like all of it.
Yeah, I read a lot of history books now.
Yeah, I like history a lot. So, Donald Trump, he did some good things. He did the First Step Act. He was more progressive, by the way, than Joe Biden. He literally was.
I know.
He vetoed the fucking military spending budget, bro. Do you know how many? I don't know how my other lefty friends are, but I almost orgasmed at that fucking thing. When I found out that he vetoed the military budget, I literally laughed the whole entire day. I was in heaven. President Trump. That's honestly, Dylan, don't tell them. But that's what I almost voted for Trump instead of fucking Joe Biden. I voted for Howie Hawkins because I can't vote for these parties. It's my principle.
And then,
but I almost voted for Trump just for that.
Wars did Trump start?
Literally, bro, he was better. Okay, guys, you literally failed big time, guys. You said he's not Trump, and he's literally worse than Trump. In fact, Trump was better. He did better things. He actually got his agenda passed. The only thing I don't like, okay, so another thing I don't like about Trump. What about Mike Pompeo, John Bolton, Kellyanne Conway,
Well, no, well, and
all these
the-
warmongers from Nicole Wallace? Why?
these are
Why?
the reasons why the Trump supporters or former Trump supporters are going, are you really on our side or not?
Yeah, because like, why? They're troublemakers.
And so, I mean, let's take both sides of the spectrum. The first side is Trump is a neocon and he's surrounding himself by neocons, and the whole
he's not a
populist thing
neocon.
was a farce. The other end of the spectrum is
I loved how we said fucking it was a mistake, Jeb Bush.
yeah, well,
That was great.
that he's got to draw from a certain pool of people with experience, and
Experience in making trouble.
and they're supposed to be his advisors, and he's the person to make the final decision. So if Michael Bolton is constantly saying, "I want to go to war, I want to go to war," he can say, "Well, no, just give me your information," right? So,
Right.
and then he, as a newbie, I mean, he's a brand new politician. He walked in there. I'm sure he had a zillion advisors that were his people, but he's still new. He doesn't know what's going on. He still has to learn the ropes, and he just didn't fully know who was on his side or not.
He didn't know that these people are cucks of the CIA, and literally they were the ones that probably helped Hillary bug his phone. Because John Bolton's literally backstabbing.
Yeah,
asshole,
right.
so.
I agree. Like,
He didn't know this. A new politician, though.
When John Bolton got on,
I'm trying to make a better change. I'm gonna get Charles Manson and Jeff Dahmer on my team, and I'll be the last say. But they might not be colluding with the CIA.
Right, and what Charles Manson killed, I don't know, 100 people. I don't fucking know. That's
Yeah,
a
but
lot less,
he was very inspirational. Okay,
and that's a lot less than 1 million people in Iraq. It's a lot
he
less
was an
than 1 million people in Iraq.
inspiration.
Right,
Yeah.
but that's what I'm saying. At the end of the day, I don't know if Trump's a deep state member.
I hope he's learned that. If he runs again, I hope he's learned some lessons about how they can kick your ass if you don't fucking put him in the ground.
Well,
Destroy your
and
enemies.
have you not seen the video of him from like the
Learn
90s
it.
or some shit, being interviewed for something? I don't know what, but he said in this interview from way back when that he said, I would like one day to lose everything so I can know who was actually on my side and who wasn't.
Aw, poor little billionaire. He wants to know who's on his side. You've created an atmosphere in a world where you're literally surrounded by yes men and all the fucking wonderful quality leisure money can buy. But if I could use it, let me tell you, Donnie, I'm still trying to figure that out, and I don't have half the money you do.
I think you missed my point. Is that
It won't work, Donnie.
That thing that he said that he would like to have, he got it.
I got your point. Bro. I just wanted to make a caveat.
Yep.
So we found out. So we learned a lesson. You think? He's acted like he doesn't.
I don't,
He's so cavalier.
Here's what I'm at. Trump's going to do whatever the heck Trump's going to do. Okay.
I'm saying, will it help? I'm asking you, will it help the country? That's what I'm asking you.
I don't know. Okay. What I'm talking about and what I want to ping into your head is, what is my influence and what can I do to improve my immediate surroundings?
I got that point.
Right.
I guess that's what you're into.
If we into Trump tax return drama and the 25th Amendment and
you want anybody to watch this stream? Got to talk about Trump, bro. CNN does it.
And there's shit. What that drama does is it takes your power away because you're just focusing on the fucking drama on the TV.
Well, how do you influence people if you don't have drama? Serious question. Because I'd love to stop talking about these guys, but I don't know what else captures the minds of these people that are literally voting for them all.
So again, what I'm saying is, you focus on the people that are already there, and even if they're evil and bad, I think this is the key point that us plebeians don't understand. Is that okay? Yes. There's a global conspiracy trying to take over the world and kill everybody.
Yeah.
However, even though they all agree that's what should happen. They fight with each other, and they are interested in personal gain.
Yeah, they are.
Right? And so if you can play somebody off the fact that they're interested in their personal gain, they're going to follow that.
Yeah.
Right? Even if they're in Club Evil.
Oh,
like, oh, hey, do this.
that's
good thing
business.
over here, and
That's
you can get
business.
some-
That's
you
business
can get
lesson
some
101.
personal gain. Oh shit! Okay.
That's how you make. Okay, so that's what you learned from the Art of a Deal, because that's how you make deals. That
No,
sounds like
no,
how you make deals.
I
mean,
I learned
really?
that from Center for Self-Governance training.
I was gonna give the ghostwriter credit then. Oh well. Well,
No,
that's a
what
good.
I-
That's a
what I
good.
learned
That's
from-
really good.
What I
That's
learned from the
true.
Art of the Deal was how to really, really think big and take on projects that are and take on ideas that really seem impossible, and to take. I mean, just to get. I remember an example that he gave of I think how he built one of his skyscrapers. I think it was a skyscraper tower, whatever the fuck. It was a bunch of residential housing, or even if it wasn't, I don't remember if it was all residential. It was a bunch of mini parcels, and let's say he needed 100 to buy 100 parcels. And when you do that, if one person holds out, then you can't do it, right? If one person's like right in the middle and he's not going to sell, it's like, well, no, I bought all the other ones and I only got this guy's preventing me from doing it because he's not going to sell. So what he did is he went around and, again, let's say it was 100. I don't remember the number. He got options to purchase the property on, say, 50. Do you know what an option to purchase property is?
Mhm.
So he got options on 50. And then he took those options to the city council and he said, look, here's my idea. I want to use eminent domain to buy the rest of them. And then he pulled up a map and he said, here's what I have options on, and here's the ones that I don't. I want your guys' authority to use eminent domain to get the rest of them, because here's the tower, skyscraper, whatever the fuck I want to build. And he got it. And I'm like, fuck, that's ballsy. I mean, whether or not I agree with the idea of eminent domain or taking these people out, forget all that shit. That is ballsy.
I mean,
Holy fuck.
it sounds like a pirate. Somebody didn't want to sell,
fuck,
but he
that's
took the
ballsy.
land anyway.
So,
About a skyscraper. Okay.
and then he went into like in order for it to work, he needed temporary property tax breaks, and then he also needed financing, but he couldn't get the financing without the tax breaks, and he couldn't get the tax breaks without the financing. I don't remember what he said, how he figured it out, but he figured it out, and I'm like, fuck, ballsy.
He should just ask his mob friends to put a horse's head in somebody's bed. That usually works.
I don't know.
Or he could have asked Jeffrey Epstein to fucking hook him up with somebody.
Right.
Okay.
Well, I mean, and maybe the whole shit's made up. I don't know. But
How do you feel about Elon Musk being associated with Ghislaine Maxwell? All these billionaires and Ghislaine Maxwell. It's interesting, isn't it?
So again,
It's almost like none of them are good.
Let's take two spectrum. Let's take a spectrum here on both sides of possibility, because we don't know. Is on one hand, there's the billionaire who's 100% in on the pedophilia and the sex trafficking.
Definitely Bill Gates. He's weird. He's been fried. He got some bad cocaine.
Yeah, and he's pregnant now. Did you see the meme that Elon Musk posted? So
Well,
we have a pregnant.
Pissing off Bezos and Gates.
Have you seen the pregnant male emoji?
What is this pregnant male emoji? What is this going on? Oh yeah.
Anywhere you had emojis, right? So Elon Musk posts this pregnant male emoji next to Bill Gates because he's getting some serious man tits and this ridiculous gut, right?
Oh
he's
dear.
Like, you wanted to lose a boner fast. Here you go.
Those guys are not liking each other. They say talk shit all day long to each other.
So anyway, so that's one end of the spectrum, and on the other end of the spectrum, maybe, and again, remember this is before the internet, is that obviously billionaires are going to bump into each other at the same parties. Hey, come meet my friend. What's her name? You just said it.
Ghislaine
Maxwell, right? Come meet my friend Ghislaine Maxwell, who's Jeffrey Epstein. It's like, oh, this billionaire Jeffrey Epstein. I don't know much about him, but let me shake his hand. Okay, take a picture, whatever, right? fall into the crazy pedophile extreme, or are some of them closer to this? I don't know.
That's when you go to, let's see Elon Musk's types of women that he likes to marry. What do they look like? Do they look young? Do they look incredibly scarred and traumatized? Do they look like vulnerable? Yes, they do. Elon Musk's wives all look like that. So did Bill. So did Melinda Gates. So did, literally Bezos's wife. He probably has a woman that he hits and pays her. Because these guys are, I don't know, bro. They're not good. By the way, did you see what they did to try to do the unions that were trying to form? They tried to attack the president. They fired him. Smeared his character. Said he was trying to bribe people with marijuana during the vote. Bezos said he wasn't clean and articulate. Literally, he said that.
You know, being somebody who's a stone's throw distance from Amazon, no, I didn't pick up on any of that.
This guy is literally. So I don't know. I really, honestly, to answer your question, I do. I think they're all exploiting people and funneling the wealth to themselves. I think that's what they do. So
I'm reading a book right now that's
hey, but I don't think Trump's a billionaire, so he's pretty cool. He's cool.
No, it's I mean, to that effect, I'm actually reading a book right now that's called Barren Metal: The History of Capitalism Through the Lens of Labor versus Usury. And it's like 1,300 fucking pages, and I'm 130 pages into it. But the premise of the idea is that our current system of economics is entirely based off of usury, and the definition of usury being, you know, you
capitalism.
You scrape off the productive aspect of a venture without you actually doing anything or taking any risk.
Crony capitalism.
Whatever we want to call it. And
capitalism
versus being able to pay people enough that this is the weird thing that the classical economists don't get, is that if you pay the floor more, they have more money to buy the stuff.
You're sounding lefty right now.
Because I'm an MMT guy.
You are?
Yeah.
Damn, that's tight. Because hallelujah.
So,
but I think we should spend it on Ukraine weapons, though.
Yeah, right. That's a great idea. Don't set a federal wage floor. No, don't do it. Don't do any of that.
How do you feel about How do you feel about the unions forming with Amazon? How do you feel about that?
I don't know how I feel about unions, man. Because on one hand, I believe that a union very quickly just turns into another government, or corruption just encapsulates it super duper fast. But on the other hand, if you've got Amazon, like, what the fuck else are you supposed to do?
Right. Dan and I were talking about this in the last hour. Like, every tool that was supposed to help us has always been used to do evil at the end. Like, technology is supposed to help us learn, be informed, and stuff like that. Turns out there's a dark web. And same thing with, energy, nuclear energy, atomic energy. Something that is meant as a tool is always going to be meant for harm eventually, when the wrong people have the tool and they use
atomic energy. The weapons came first and the energy came second.
Okay, really? I didn't know that.
Oh yeah. I mean, all that stuff was figured out in the Manhattan Project, so we can drop bombs on Japan.
That's sad and really gross.
Yeah. No, I as a chemistry major,
wow,
we had to learn all about what happened in the Manhattan Project.
Lindsey Graham wants to do a repeat. Hey, well, can we expect that from okay, honestly though, last question, and I have to go to bed because literally, goddamn. But are we gonna do a nuclear thing, war? Because we ain't stopping till Putin's dead.
Are we stopping until we?
Yeah, both parties have agreed.
So
we're not stopping until Putin's dead.
There's so much fog of war. I have no fucking clue what's going on.
One thing is clear. Putin is a war criminal, and we know what we do to Saddam Hussein, a brutal dictator. You know what we do to Muammar Gaddafi, someone who gassed his own people.
They didn't have nuclear weapons, man. They didn't have like the largest land army on the face of the planet. Or maybe that's China, but whatever. Like,
when Commissioner Gordon tells Batman at the end of Batman Begins about escalation, like this is what's happening. We're going after Putin. We don't care if he has nukes. we do too. It's on.
Yeah, and maybe now we have anti-missile defense systems, so everybody's feeling cocky. I don't know, man. I hope it doesn't happen. But
You're not giving me a definite answer that I can hold you on the record with.
well, I don't fucking know what's going on, man. And I mean, Joe Biden's the one with the button. The guy
Look, buddy,
running, chasing
who
him
really
around.
has that button? Who has it? Because not Kamala either. She'd just laugh it off. Who has that button? I bet it's Millie. I bet Millie's running the whole thing by himself. I bet it is.
I don't know. I don't know.
Everybody's quoting him all the time. Millie says, "Oh, Millie." Not even our Secretary of State. Secretary of State, nobody even knows him. Oh, FBI. It's sad,
so,
bro.
but,
What
you
our
know,
people have gone through.
keep this in mind if this helps make anybody feel better. Is that what happened to COVID?
I know, dude.
It just disappeared. It just disappeared, right?
But we need to preserve the authority of fascism.
Of
mandates.
course. Yeah, I mean, forgive me
For future posterity.
Forgive
future
me for
posterity.
suggesting that, right?
We must not relinquish the power of every.
Yes.
I knew this, dude. I knew this was gonna happen. I knew as soon as they opened a commission on something, we were gonna go back to war. Because that's what they like to do.
Here's my point. It may be, and I'm not saying that this is the case, that NPCs are going to have the next thing that they're going to be upset about next year.
Yeah.
And that'll be the new religion after COVID's no longer the religion and after Ukraine is no longer the religion.
Probably one of those pandemics from the biolabs that are there that nobody isn't supposedly there because the media doesn't think it is, even though our government said it was.
Why
Yeah.
are you watching the media, man? I just don't understand people.
Because I still have, because I like to look at them and see that they're completely lying. I like to make myself frustrated. Look at them lie to my face and then watch people believe it. Turn around.
So,
I like to drink.
If you're not going to listen to me, maybe somebody watching this will listen to me.
I am listening to you.
Have a come to Jesus moment and say, am I serving myself? Am I serving the people that I need to serve by continually making myself frustrated? Or should I focus on what I am able to change and improve my life and my surroundings that way?
I like it. Serenity prayer.
Well, not just a
Grant me the serenity.
prayer, actually taking the action to do it.
Agree.
Right?
So the next action that you have to do it, hey, include me in on it. How about that? Maybe then I won't have time to watch the media. It'll be tight.
Wait, are we talking about media or are we talking about something else?
I'm saying like the next time you have a project or something, I'd
Bring
like
some
to be
value
involved
to
in
the
that.
project, motherfucker.
Yeah. I would love to. I'm very creative. I write my own books. All right, Dylan. Well, I'm tired and you fucking wear me out, bro. I love you though. You're a good friend. You should run. I think you should run, bro. I would definitely be comfortable with you in office. You're a smart, caring person.
Get some billions first.
Billions, huh? All right. It's time to open a casino, guys. It's tough
Yeah.
politics. Y'all be free thinking.